All right, buenos dias. Happy Fortification Friday. Love your soul, not your role. I'm going to go right into it. Today is the 31st of October. It's getting cold outside. It's almost winter, or I think it's winter for some folks. Love your soul, not your role. You already know. Wake up, wake up. Let me do what I do. I hope you guys have been well. God bless. And you already know. So let me see if I can find Fortification Friday. And here's a prayer before your day begins and my day. I come before you at the heart of this day, not with my own strength, but with a surrendered heart. I lay down my anxieties, my plans, my fears, and my need for control at your feet. I choose to trust in your sovereignty and your goodness. Fortify my spirit as I empty myself, and fill me with your peace and surpasses all understanding. Guide my steps, guide my heart, and be the architect of my life. In your holy name I pray, amen. Here's a poem for Fortification Friday. Hello, thank you for saying hi. Love your soul, not your moon. You already know I'm the cosmic in the house. God bless. Here's a poem for today. A poem for fortification. The walls of the heart, a fortress to keep against the worries that silently creep. All right, let me finish that. With faith as the mortar and prayer as the stone, a spiritual stronghold, you're never alone. Stand firm in the storm, let resilience rise. A fortified soul reflected in your eyes. So build ever higher, steadfast and true. The strength of heavens resides within you. So thank you very much. That's Fortification Friday. That's the poem I have for today. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope that you give Father God your life today in spirit and in soul, and that you are able to share life today. So, what's up, bro? Let me go into the Bible. We were last, I think it was Exodus. I don't remember. It's been a while. So anyway, so this is Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, NIV version. Today's, I would say, word of the day. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. So that's today. I'm going to share it on Facebook right now. That's a good one for today. Fortification Friday, you already know. Love your soul, not your role, which means to pray, believe in a creator, read the Bible, follow in Jesus Christ's steps. So basically his example as a man on this planet, and treat others the way you want to be treated, and be nice to each other, and find out what life is like when you're in the path of Father God. So let me see if I can find where I was in the reading of the Bible, but I forgot. Okay, let's see. Bible, here we go. I think it was Exodus. Anyway, let's find something in. I like Psalms. I think we were Exodus. Let me see where we were. PC home. Bible. Secure. That's what I want. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I think I found. Here we go. Okay. I think I was in. I think I was in Leviticus. Let's see. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do Leviticus. So here you go. Have something to listen to. This is Leviticus. I think I was in it. I'm not sure. I'm going to go to the Bible to see if I have it marked. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to listen to the Bible. Here we go. Love your soul, not your role. You already know. Wake up. Wake up. Oh, yeah, hold on.
Leviticus chapter 1. The Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting. He said, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when anyone among you brings an offering to the Lord, bring as your offering an animal from either the herd or the flock. If the offering is a burnt offering from the herd, you are to offer a male without defect. You must present it at the entrance to the tent of meeting, so that it will be acceptable to the Lord. You are to lay your hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on your behalf to make atonement for you. You are to slaughter the young bull before the Lord, and then Aaron's sons, the priests, shall bring the blood and splash it against the sides of the altar at the entrance to the tent of meeting. You are to skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. The sons of Aaron, the priest, are to put fire on the altar and arrange wood on the fire. Then Aaron's sons, the priests, shall arrange the pieces, including the head and the fat, on the wood that is burning on the altar. You are to wash the internal organs and the legs with water, and the priest is to burn all of it on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. If the offering is a burnt offering from the flock, from either the sheep or the goats, you are to offer a male without defect. You are to slaughter it at the north side of the altar before the Lord. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall splash its blood against the sides of the altar. You are to cut it into pieces, and the priest shall arrange them, including the head and the fat, on the wood that is burning on the altar. You are to wash the internal organs and the legs with water, and the priest is to bring all of them and burn them on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. If the offering to the Lord is a burnt offering of birds, you are to offer a dove or a young pigeon. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off the head and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out on the side of the altar. He is to remove the crop and the feathers and throw them down east of the altar where the ashes are. He shall tear it open by the wings, not dividing it completely, and then the priest shall burn it on the wood that is burning on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Leviticus chapter 2. When anyone brings a grain offering to the Lord, their offering is to be of the finest flour. They are to pour olive oil on it, put incense on it, and take it to Aaron's sons, the priests. The priest shall take a handful of the flour and oil, together with all the incense, and burn this as a memorial portion on the altar, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons. It is a most holy part of the food offerings presented to the Lord. If you bring a grain offering baked in an oven, it is to...
Okay, so most of these things you don't do nowadays. You just go to the supermarket and buy food. So you have to wonder, or you have to know that because there are other... Hold on, give me a second. So there are folks who do that. There are folks who have their own farm. You don't have your own farm anymore. You don't have your own, you don't hunt your own food. So basically what you do, you just pray over your food every time you eat, because it is pleasing to the Lord, to the Father, that you do that, and He will bless your food. And the food in itself, when you pray over the food, you want to pray over the food verbally, out loud. And we already know what we talk about when we say things out loud. Right, there's power in word. Just how this planet was created through the power of word. So can your nutrition. So can your life be the same. So you have to pray it out loud to the food. Like you're eating your food. You don't look at your food. You hold your food. The Father God, thank you for this food. And just give Him praise and say thank you. That's all you got to do. You're not slaughtering animals. Nobody's doing that anymore. So how do you offer the food? You pray over your food when you get it, when you go buy it, when you eat it. You just pray over the food. That's it. So that's how you can follow, in a sense, this type of law, because it's basically law.
Consist of the finest flour, either thick loaves made without yeast and with olive oil mixed in, or thin loaves made without yeast and brushed with olive oil. If your grain offering is prepared on a griddle, it is to be made of the finest flour mixed with oil and without yeast. Crumble it.
God bless.
And
Thank
pour
you for the
oil on it. It is a grain offering. If your grain offering is cooked in a pan, it is to be made of the finest flour and some olive oil.
Hey, Raghav, how you doing?
Bring
God bless.
the grain offering made of these things to the Lord. Present it to the priest, who shall take it to the altar. He shall take out the memorial portion from the grain offering and burn it on the altar as a food offering, an aroma pleasing.
It just started.
To the Lord.
It just got up. It just started.
The rest
But
of
it's
the
good.
grain
Thank you for asking.
belongs
How's
to
yours?
Aaron and his sons. It is a most holy part of the food offerings presented to the Lord. Every grain offering you bring to the Lord must be made without yeast.
I was up at 6.
For you are not to burn any yeast or honey in a food offering.
When you get old, man, you wake up early. You don't have energy in the
You may bring them
afternoon.
to the Lord as an
At least I
offering
don't.
of the first fruits, but they are not to be offered on the altar as a pleasing aroma. Season all your grain offerings with salt. Do not leave the salt of the covenant of your God out of your grain offerings. Add salt to all your offerings. If you bring a grain offering of first fruits to the Lord, offer crushed heads of new grain roasted in the fire. Put oil and incense on it. It is a grain offering. The priest shall burn the memorial portion of the crushed grain and the oil, together with all the incense, as a food offering presented to the Lord. Leviticus chapter 3.
That's in the
If your offering is a fellowship offering, and you offer an animal from the herd, whether male or female, you are to present before the Lord an animal without defect. You are to lay your hand on the head of your offering and slaughter it at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Then Aaron's sons, the priests, shall splash the blood
The
against
Bible,
the sides of the
NIV,
herd.
Leviticus.
From the fellowship offering, you are to bring a food offering to the Lord, the internal organs and all the fat that is connected to them, both kidneys with the fat on them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver, which you will remove with the kidneys.
God bless you.
Then Aaron's sons are to burn it on the altar, on top of the burnt offering that is lying on the burning wood.
Thank you.
It is a food
I respect you too.
offering,
Yay.
an aroma pleasing to the Lord.
Appreciate you for that comment.
If you offer an animal from the flock as a fellowship offering to the Lord, you are to offer a male or female without defect. If you offer a lamb, you are to present it before the Lord. Lay your hand on its head and slaughter it in front of the tent of meeting. Then Aaron's sons shall splash its blood against the sides of the altar. From the fellowship offering, you are to bring a food offering to the Lord. Its fat, the entire fat tail, cut off close to the backbone, the internal organs and all the fat that is connected to them, both kidneys with the fat on them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver, which you will remove with the kidneys. The priest shall burn them on the altar as a food offering presented to the Lord. If your offering is a goat, you are to present it before the Lord. Lay your hand on its head and slaughter it in front of the tent of meeting. Then Aaron's sons shall splash its blood against the sides of the altar. From what you offer, you are to present this food offering to the Lord: the internal organs and all the fat that is connected to them, both kidneys with the fat on them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver, which you will remove with the kidneys. The priest shall burn them on the altar as a food offering. Pleasing.
Is there a certain part of Pakistan, like a city in there, a town, or just Pakistan? I've never been there. I watched this guy he travels around the world and he does like food reviews. So he went to that side of the world. Pretty interesting food you guys have. The street food's pretty neat. He does street food. Street food looks pretty good. But awesome, Pakistan. Yeah, I don't know much about Pakistan. I know probably when I was a kid in school, they didn't really tell us much about Pakistan. So I don't know anything about your culture, but I've heard a lot about it from watching this gentleman when he goes around. Like, he does extensive, like, hour videos. Go out, he buys food, he tastes it. I forgot his name, but that's like kind of as much as I know about Pakistan. I'm from the United States. My parents are from Puerto Rico. So let's finish. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I get to. Thank you. It looks like a nice place. I mean, from what I've seen.
Aroma. All the fat is the Lord's. This is a lasting ordinance for the generations to come wherever you live. You must not eat any fat or any blood. Leviticus chapter.
So what I understood about that is that at the very end, Australia, cool, nice. I think I was just watching a video about animals from Madagascar and Australia. I think actually like yesterday. So from what I learned about Leviticus 3 is that you're not supposed to eat fat or blood. From what I learned from that, right? There could be many reasons why. We can look into why that is a law in the Bible. Just like eating pork is a law in Islam, right? I suppose. I'm not religious, by the way. I'm not Christian, so I'm just reading the Bible. I'm learning from the Bible because my he's a preacher and all that stuff. I was baptized in Christianity, but I don't follow the indoctrination and certain things. Like, I don't go to church on Sunday. That's probably only one of the things that I do. I don't eat pork. And I was born, I'm Puerto Rican, so Puerto Ricans love eating pork, believe me. But basically what I got from that chapter is that the very last portion of it was that don't eat meat or don't drink blood or eat fat. I mean, that's what I got.
4. The Lord said to Moses, "Say to the Israelites, when anyone sins unintentionally and does what is forbidden in any of the Lord's commands, if the anointed priest sins, bringing guilt on the people, he must bring to the Lord a young bull without defect as a sin offering for the sin he has committed. He is to present the bull at the entrance to the tent of meeting."
So if you hear that portion, it says an unintentional sin. So if it's an intentional sin, he could not have brought the bull because he did it intentionally. Oh, it's 10 p.m.? Why are you still awake? You don't work in the morning? What part of Australia, first of all? Um, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning here.
For the Lord. He is to lay his hand on its head and slaughter it there before the Lord. Then the anointed priest shall take some of the bull's blood and carry it to the tent of meeting. He is to dip his finger into the blood and sprinkle some of it 7 times before the Lord in front of the curtain of the sanctuary. The priest shall then put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of fragrant incense that is before the Lord in the
Victoria,
tent of
cool.
meeting.
Never heard of it, but I
The
mean,
rest of the
Sydney I
bull's
heard of,
blood
but
he shall pour
all right,
out
how is that?
the
Is
base
it?
of
I'll
the
look it
altar
up.
of
I'll check it
burnt
out. Thank you for
offering
telling
at the
me.
entrance to the tent of meeting. He shall remove all the fat from the bull of the sin offering, all the fat that is connected to the internal organs, both kidneys with the fat on them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver which he will remove with the kidneys, just as the fat is removed from the ox sacrificed as a fellowship offering. Then the priest shall burn them on the altar of burnt offering. But the hide of the bull, and all its flesh, as well as the head and legs, the internal organs, and the intestines, that is all the rest of the bull, he must take outside the camp to a place ceremonially clean, where the ashes are thrown, and burn it there in a wood fire on the ash heap. If the whole Israelite community sins unintentionally, and does what is forbidden in any of the Lord's commands, even though the community is unaware of the matter, when they realize their guilt and the sin they committed becomes known, the assembly must bring a young bull as a sin offering and present it before the tent of meeting. The elders of the community are to lay their hands on the bull's head before the Lord, and the bull shall be slaughtered before the Lord. Then the anointed priest is to take some of the bull's blood into the tent of meeting.
I wonder with that statement, if the whole community commits a sin unintentionally and then they find out their guilt, what kind of sin would that be? Anybody know? What kind of sin would be where an entire community of a race of people, the Israelites, committed a sin? And then they found out that they committed a sin. What would that be? I'm ignorant to what would something like that be. Because since we're like diverse here in America, right? We have all kind of folks that follow all different types of indoctrinations and religions and way of being. It's kind of difficult for us to put a finger on what we're supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to be doing it. So things were created for us from others of what we're supposed to be doing, right? We don't know what we're supposed to be doing, so we look towards the Bible to figure out what we're supposed to do. But a lot of these things were done in the old world. Some of it's still practiced. I don't know. So I would want to know, what can a community, how can a whole community commit a sin and then not be aware of it, and then become aware of it? And this is kind of weird, but that's what I'm getting out of that. I don't know.
He shall dip his finger into the blood and sprinkle it before the Lord 7 times in front of the curtain. He is to put some of the blood on the horns of the altar that is before the Lord in the tent of meeting. The rest of the blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering at the entrance to the tent of meeting. He shall remove all the fat from it and burn it on the altar, and do with this bull just as he did with the bull for the sin offering. In this way, the priest will make atonement for the community, and they will be forgiven. Then he shall take the bull outside the camp and burn it as he burned the first bull. This is the sin offering for the community. When a leader sins unintentionally and does what is forbidden in any of the commands of the Lord his God, when he realizes his guilt and the sin he has committed becomes known, he must bring as his offering a male goat without defect. He is to lay his hand on the goat's head and slaughter it at the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered before the Lord. It is a sin offering. Then the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. He shall burn all the fat on the altar as he burned the fat of the fellowship offering. In this way, the priest will make atonement for the leader's sin, and he will be forgiven. If any member of the community sins unintentionally and does what is forbidden in any of the Lord's commands, when they realize their guilt and the sin they have committed becomes known, they must bring as their offering for the sin they committed a female goat without defect.
I don't know if it tells you why it needs to be a male or female when you do that offering. Let me show you what it looks like in the NIV. There's a whole page about offering. You see that? There's the sin offering. You see it? Let me see if I can show you. You see it? It shows you right there. So that's a guide. Now, I don't know what that entails. Why male, why female? I'm not sure. Again, I'm not religious. This seems to be more ritualistic to me anyway. I could be wrong.
They are to lay their hand on the head of the sin offering and slaughter it at the place of the burnt offering. Then the priest is to take some of the blood with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering and pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. They shall remove all the fat, just as the fat is removed from the fellowship offering, and the priest shall burn it on the altar as an aroma, pleasing to the Lord. In this way, the priest will make atonement for them, and they will be forgiven. If someone brings a lamb as their sin offering, they are to bring a female without defect. They are to lay their hand on its head and slaughter it for a sin offering at the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered. Then the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering and pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. They shall remove all the fat, just as the fat is removed from the lamb of the fellowship offering, and the priest shall burn it on the altar, on top of the food offerings presented to the Lord. In this way, the priest will make atonement for them for the sin they have committed, and they will be forgiven.
All right, I'm gonna end it there. So this is what's going on here. So this is Old Testament sacrifices. This is the Old Testament that we're reading, right? So there's the burnt offering. He already reviewed that. Grain offering, fellowship offering, sin offering, and guilt offering. I'm gonna end it there. And here there's the elements that you use, the purpose of the offering. So I'm gonna show you again, real quick. Here it is. So you see what it says up here? Sacrifice. I don't know what that says there. I can't read it backwards, but the elements and the purpose. So there's an explanation, which is good. So now now at least I know what the intent was. Again, sacrifice, other references, OT references, elements, and the purpose of those sacrifices. There you go. So I'm going to end it there. There's something that I want to show you that I found. In America, they're celebrating what's called Halloween. I don't celebrate Halloween. Never did. Don't celebrate Christmas. I was made to, but I don't really like those holidays because they don't make sense to me. Just like most of the stuff that I'm reading in here doesn't make sense, which is why I'm reading it. Hold on. I like reading stuff about things that we don't know, things that we weren't taught, right? Things that are, some of the things that I've been learning about is kind of scary, but I ran into this video. Let me see if I can find it, and I want you to hear what this guy says. It's in my Facebook, and then it's the section saved. Here it is. I think I have it here. I think I saved it. Where is it? Or I think I put it on my page. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I think I put it on my page. So let's look. Let's see.
If the Lord of the manor.
Okay, listen to this. This is about, I think, Halloween. I'm not really sure, but listen how creepy this is. But look.
If the Lord of the manor cooperated with the Druids, he would take one of his own servants or one of his own household members, someone of his own family, and pass them over to the Druids to be used as a human sacrifice offering that night.
So I don't know what night he's talking about. I think he's talking about Halloween. So if you can hear it, let me know, please, because this is really interesting about this time, which is, I don't celebrate Halloween. I've been with, like, in relationship with people who do, like, they buy all this creepy stuff, they put it in front of their house. There's a reason why they do this, right? There's a reason why people celebrate Christmas. There's a reason for all of this stuff. The reason that you're told is tenfold a lie. Right? You're told it's fun, the kids eat candy, or for this time, or you give presents out. But listen to what he says. This is creepy, but listen to what he says.
The Druids would leave you a treat for your cooperation. They would take a pumpkin that was previously hollowed out and filled with human fat. They would leave it on the...
So they would take a pumpkin that was previously hollowed out and they would fill it with human fat. Check it out. And then watch what they did with the pumpkin.
Front doorstep and light it. This served as a ward of protection from all the demonic forces that would be unleashed that night.
So basically, the Druids, this is what he's saying, the people who were Druids and some other folks that followed them, this is and it says it right there, the origins of Halloween, right up here. The origins of Halloween. So these are the kind of things that I like to learn about, because when you're celebrating something and you don't really know why you're celebrating, but you're doing it anyway, and because you're told, but then you become to a realization that this is not even part of my culture, because your culture has been erased. Your culture has been erased, and you guys are following and doing things that you don't have no idea the consequences. But check it out.
Now this is where we get into the trick. If you did not cooperate...
So that was the treat. So these are... So the trick or treat. Now this could be wrong. But I don't think it's wrong. I think it's an opinion, a view. This guy, I don't know who this guy is. Never looked him up. But this is what I found. Okay. So he said that's the treat. The treat is you get a human, these people who follow these Druid folks, they would sacrifice that human. And remember, we just read about sacrifice, which is kind of funny. Nothing's a coincidence. We just read about in Leviticus sacrifice. So he's saying, and I'll read it. I think I want to come on tonight and go over it again, because it's interesting because of what today is, or yesterday. I don't even know what day it falls on, but listen.
With the Druids, they would take blood from a dead body that they had actually been dragging around and paint the six-pointed star with the circle around it. This is known as a hexagram, from the Latin hexer for six. This is the foulest and most evil of all the symbols in the occult world. I don't care what anyone else tells you. You need that symbol if you're going to summon a demon to this plane of existence. The Druids would paint that in human blood on the people's front door. Someone would die between those nights because of the demonic forces that were summoned. If the Lord of the Man...
So I found that yesterday. Now, again, one thing that you should know is that you know nothing. Another thing that you should also understand is that there is no truth. There is no truth, and you're never gonna have truth ever. Nobody's ever gonna tell you the truth, because nobody knows the truth. It doesn't exist. But love your soul natural. You already know. Read the Bible. If you have children, show them the Bible. Get YouVersion. Follow that, and fortify your soul for today. Thank Father God for giving you another day to live in this crazy world. But He didn't make it crazy. We did. So we can just make it better just by reading the Bible, loving each other, giving each other, hello, hi, taking care of each other instead of trying to take each other's souls. So love your soul natural. You already know. Godspeed. Thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll be on maybe tonight to talk a little bit more about this celebration that's going on. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? But tomorrow's Sabbath. Again, remember, I'm not religious. I don't follow Christianity. I read the Bible, and I follow my soul. So those things come to me, and I follow it, and I read it, and I understand it as much as I can, and I ask the Creator for discernment so I can know and feel comfortable about what I'm reading, what I'm studying, and how it's going to make my life, the rest of my life, better. Love your soul natural.